Okay, we're gonna divide decimals. So when we divide decimals, we gotta first set it up so that we can divide it correctly, where we use a bracket. So if you see here, I have 32 and 6/10 divided by 9. So remember that this is what we call the dividend, and this is what we call the divisor, and then our answer will be what's called the quotient. So when you set this up with a bracket, so this is the bracket that I'm talking about, remember that the dividend always goes inside, or the first digit. So I'm going to put the 32 and 6/10 inside the bracket. And then the divisor will go on the outside. And then the quotient will go on the top. Okay? And that's what we're trying to find out, is the quotient. So when we divide decimals, it's always a good idea to deal with the decimal first, which is kind of the opposite of multiplying. So for this one, I like to deal with the decimal first. We're always going to be dealing with that. So on this particular problem, the only thing that you have to do is scoot the decimal up, is what I think about. Scoot the decimal up. So the way that I do that is I just think I'm going to stick that right at the top, just like that. Okay? And you're done. That's all you have to do here. And now it just becomes a normal division problem. So now I have 326 divided by 9, and we're going to just divide like normal. So remember, when we divide, is we're first going to take the smallest digit that we can. So I can't use the 3, but I can use the 32. So I'm going to do 32 divided by 9, and that goes in 3 times. Remember, we want to get close without going over. So 9 times 3 is 27, and then remember, we subtract. So 32 take away 27 is 5. Okay, next step in division is we bring down. So that becomes a 56 now. Okay, we need to keep going. So we need to then divide again. 56 divided by 9 goes in 6 times. Now, do you see how this is super important right here, is that I'm lining up my place value. Do you see how I put that 3 under that 2 because I was using 32? If you put that 3 under that 3 here, then you're not lining up your place value. You're telling me that 9 goes into 3 times, and that's not true. So this is kind of just blank because only 0 will go into that, and that I don't need that 0 there. It's not really important. And so make sure you're scooting that over and getting that 3 in the right place. Same here with that 6. I'm putting that 6 there because I'm using 56, or that 6. So make sure you're lining up your place value. Okay, let's divide again. So we said 56 divided by 9 goes in 6 times. 9 times 6 is 54. And now we subtract again, and we get 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Typically with division problems, sometimes when you're dividing decimals, it goes in evenly. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it repeats. So I'm always going to keep dividing at least to the thousandths place to see if it stops, if it keeps redoing or keep going over and over, or is it going to be something that I need to round because it never ends, because some decimals never end. Okay, so again, we're going to add, to do that, we're going to add a 0. Okay, so whenever you're kind of got to a point where there's nowhere else to go, we add a 0. And then we bring that 0 down. And then we divide again. And we do 20 goes into 9 2 times. 9 times 2 is 18. We subtract. Look at that. I bring a 0 again, and I get back to 20. So we call this a repeating decimal. So I'm going to be done because I know what's going to keep happening is I'm going to keep getting 2's, 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 and 2's. So I'm going to cut it off. And the way we cut it off is we put a line over the top, because a line over the top in math means repeating decimal. So then the final answer for this problem would be 3 and 62 hundredths repeating. So we put that line to represent repeating, and you're done.